Welcome to this session of mindfulness, awareness, and compassion practice. What we'll be doing is going through a sequence of practices, a short time with each, but they're introductions that you can then spend longer time when you have the opportunity to practice on your own. We start from the ground up, you might say. And so we first want to be grounded and present in our body. Mindfulness means being present to our experience moment to moment. And our body is always in the present. Our location in space is always here, and our location in time is always now. But our mind is a time machine. It goes into the past and the future, replaying the past and either previewing or rehearsing the future. And so what we want to do is begin by anchoring our mind in the body. An important aspect of this is working with the breathing. We work with the breathing for a couple of reasons. One, it's something that happens whether we're paying attention to it or not. So it's an ongoing process. And it's a little bit like life. We can control it, but just to a certain extent. You can hold your breath for a little bit, but not for a really, really long time. At some point, your body says, sorry, I'm overruling you. We're going to breathe now. There's also the connection with our environment, that what we're breathing in is something we usually don't consider to be part of ourselves. It's the atmosphere in the room around us. We're breathing the air in, and it's not us, but then at some point it becomes us. Goes into our lungs, goes into our bloodstream. It's part of us. When we breathe out, the air that's in our lungs, that's part of us, goes out and becomes part of the environment. And you can't really say the moment when it stops being not you and starts being you, and stops being you and starts being not you. So for that reason, we work with the breathing. There's one other, and that is our mind and our breathing are very much synchronized. You know, when we're uptight, our breathing is very, sometimes we just stop breathing, like a deer in the headlights. And when we're relaxed, the breathing is slow and deep and easy. And so our breathing and our mind reflect each other. So those are some of the reasons we'll work with the breathing. Now, to work with the breathing, it's helpful to have a good posture. So we'll start by going through the posture, then some grounding and settling practices. Then we'll work with mindfulness of paying attention moment to moment, and then expand out into awareness practice and connecting with our sense perceptions and the environment around us. And finally, we'll spend a little time connecting with others through compassion practice. So to begin, it's helpful not to be looking directly into the screen for a long time when we're doing these practices. So you may want to turn your seat or turn your device, move your device to the side or turn your seat slightly sideways. But to begin the practice, let's work with our posture. So you're sitting firmly on a chair or cushion, and your legs are, if you're in a chair, are straight in front of you, your feet about hip width apart, flat on the floor. But if you have long legs and your knees are higher than your hips, it can put a little strain on your upper legs and lower back. So you can gently cross your legs in front of you so that you're, to the extent that your knees are slightly lower than your hips. Your legs will cross about at your ankles. If you're sitting on a cushion, the same thing. Make sure the cushion is high enough that you can cross your legs and your knees will be slightly lower than your hips. We want to feel like from our sit bones pressing into the cushion that the sit bones press in and our back and continuing on to the back of our neck and the back of our head all extend upward in a straight line. It won't actually be a straight line. We have some curvature to our spine, but it'll feel like they're upright, but not rigid. Let your arms, just upper arms hang straight down from your shoulders, and leaving your elbows there. Just swivel your hands up, palm down on each thigh respectively. As far as your torso goes, there's something that's very helpful. There's a spot about, if you feel your sternum, from the notch at the top to the notch at the bottom, about a third of the way up, just below the second button of your shirt, on my shirt there. I'll move the screen a little bit. So right about there. And if you feel like that's moving slightly forward and slightly upward, just a little bit, tiny little bit, forward and up, what happens is your chest opens up, your breathing opens up, your shoulders go back and down naturally without pulling them back. If the back of your head stays straight up, your chin comes in naturally. And this is an ideal posture for the breath to flow in through our nostrils and straight down into our lungs. Breathe in through your nose. If some comes out your mouth as you breathe out, that's okay, but it's best to breathe in through your nose. So we have our jaw relaxed, not clenched, but not hanging open. So our teeth are parted, but our lips are just barely parted or lightly touching, whichever is more comfortable for you. And for the first part of our practice, you can let your eyes gently close. And feel like you're activating your body. Too often, it's like we're just in our head and our body's basically a transport vehicle. It's something we use to pick things up with. So start with your toes. Wiggle your toes a little bit, roll your ankles a little bit. Be in your feet. Arches and instep. Calves and shins. Feel your knees and the thick muscles of your thighs. Now you've fully inhabited your legs. You can just gently slide your thighs slightly forward and slightly back, alternating, and you can feel how they connect in your hip sockets and into your pelvis. And start to inhabit your muscles and your skeleton that way. Feel your lower back, deep belly, your whole torso. Feel how open your heart is, open your chest is when you move that spot on your sternum slightly up and forward. How it firms up your back. So you have firm back and open front. Feel your shoulders, arms hanging from your shoulders. Again, move your shoulders slightly forward and back, or your arms up and down, and feel the connection in your shoulder joints and the energy all the way down your arms, into your wrists and hands. Move your fingers. Now you fully inhabited your limbs and your torso. Feel your neck connecting in to your shoulders, your skull sitting on your neck. Full body awareness. Now we go in the other direction, and from the top down, just scan your body like your own awareness is your own personal MRI. Your body scan. And notice places where you might be holding tension and not realize it. Ideally, we hold only enough tension to keep our posture and relax everything else around it, like the canvas hanging from a tent pole before it's stretched out into a tent. Around your ears and your jaw. Sometimes we have more tension in our jaw than we realize. Just let the tension melt as your awareness scans it. Neck and shoulders, chest and upper arms. There's a little tension to keep your sternum up and your chest open. Everything else around it can relax. Upper arms, rib cage all around. Stomach, lower back, deep belly. You may have noticed when you soften your shoulders that they drop down a little naturally. When you soften your deep belly, notice that it relaxes and opens. Pelvis and thighs, forearms and hands. Knees, calves, ankles, and feet. Again, we tend to think of our awareness as, and our mind as basically in our head. We want to drop our awareness deeper into the core of our torso. So let your awareness drop down past your chest, past your rib cage. Rest your awareness in your deep belly, in the core of your torso. It's a few inches below your navel, just in front of your spine. Your body breathing by itself. There's a gentle expansion and contraction down there. Feel your sit bones on your cushion and really let yourself sink in. Sink down as if you're part of the earth, but your upright posture is majestic like a mountain. Don't try to control your breath. Just let it gently go in and out, very naturally. Sometimes larger, sometimes smaller. Like the ocean waves gently going up the beach and then back down into the ocean. Sometimes farther, sometimes gentler, sometimes bigger. Let the body breathe itself. Relax your mind, open to whatever you're going to experience. Seeing without looking for something, hearing without listening for anything. Just open, like the sky. Clouds, birds, planes passing across it. The sky doesn't change. Body like a mountain, breath moving like the ocean, mind open like the sky. And as the gong fades, let your eyes open about halfway so that you're looking diagonally down. Whatever's in your field of vision, just soften your gaze so that you're looking in that direction, but not grasping onto the objects in your field of vision. It's as if you're seeing the space that you're sitting in. You can see your body, you can see the space you're sitting in. With awareness of your posture, let your mind rest on, in your deep core, on the feeling of expanding as the breath comes in, contracting as the breath goes out. And since our mind tends to wander, there'll be times when it goes off into a thought, followed by another thought, and another, into a sort of daydream. They never last forever. At some point, when it pops, you realize, oh, at that moment, you make a little mental note, thought, or thinking, which is code for I was off in thoughts, and now I'm back. Reconnect with your posture, the space you're sitting in, and mindfulness of the feeling of the breath expanding and contracting your torso. We'll do that for a couple of minutes. If your mind has been mainly occupied with lots and lots of thoughts, you can drop your awareness into your torso and pay more attention to the details, the sensations of starting to fill, filling, and full, that feeling like that, the moment of transition and the starting to empty, emptying, and empty. Moment of transition, filling and emptying, paying attention to those sensations as continuously as you can. And as the gong fades, just move a little bit, refresh yourself. You can do short practices and then take a fresh start at any time. When you're ready, reconnect with your posture. This time, open your eyes in a normal way. And from your posture, there's a natural direction that your gaze falls. It's usually slightly below the horizon. Open to that and soften your gaze again. Open up to your peripheral vision, the larger space that you're sitting in. And as the breath goes out, rather than focusing on our internal sensation, let your mind mix with the breath as it goes out, opening and as the breath goes out, it actually physically starts dissolving and mixing in with the atmosphere. In the same way, just let your awareness go out and let it open up, relax, dissolve any sense of me over here, breath over there. Just open your mind to the space and rest in that openness as the body breathes in by itself. So you're going out, opening, and resting. Out, open, rest. We'll do that for a couple of minutes. As the gong fades, refresh your posture, firm back, open front. And now let your gaze go straight out to horizontal. Again, open your peripheral vision. Soften your facial muscles, open your eyes, open to as wide to the sides as you can, above and below. Notice all the colors shapes and shades of light and dark. Without moving your eyes, your awareness can move around your field of vision. And just see the colors, shapes, and shades of light and dark without looking for something. If a label of what you're seeing comes to mind, that's fine, let it come and go. No need for extra commentary. And leaving your eyes open, listen in all directions. Hearing without listening for something. Sounds near and far. Open up your hearing as far as you can hear. High and low pitch, loud and soft. Again, leaving your eyes open. Notice bodily sensations, the air on the skin of your hands and face, cloth on your shoulders and legs, chest and back. Cool, dry air coming in your nostrils, warm, moist air going out. Open to what you're seeing, hearing, feeling. There may be smells that you pick up, taste, something you ate or drank. All these sense perceptions. And one more, that you're aware of your thoughts. It's mental perception. You perceive your thoughts. Notice how they appear in your mind, dwell for a moment, and disappear, morphing into another thought or a moment of open space. And for the next couple of minutes, just let your mind move from one perception to another, no particular order, wherever your mind wants to go. And again, if thoughts capture you and take you away into a series of thoughts, into a daydream, when you realize it, just smile, go, thoughts, meaning I was off in thoughts and now I'm back. And connect with posture and sense perceptions. We'll do that for a couple of minutes. As the gong fades, refresh your posture. This practice that we're going to do now is more of a contemplation and includes some visualization or imagining. We begin by opening our minds as far as we can imagine. Imagine that as your breath goes out, your awareness opens up beyond your room, beyond the space, the area that you live in, out to the horizon, out to the sky. Imagine your awareness is as big as space, extending out beyond the farthest star. Rest in that openness. And within that open space, bring to mind someone you care deeply about, who you know is going through some kind of suffering, some kind of hardship, physical pain, mental anguish. And you can do this with your eyes open or closed, whichever is more comfortable. But tune into the feeling in your open heart, the feeling of wishing that they weren't suffering that way. The genuine feeling of, I wish that they were free from that suffering and the cause of that suffering. Now imagine them free from that suffering and having peace, health, contentment, happiness. Feel how good it feels for you that they are free from their suffering. How good it makes you feel that they have peace and health and happiness. And that feeling we have in our heart for just one loved one is the same that we can have for all beings. And it's the same that we can have for ourselves. Imagine that as you breathe in, you can take away your own suffering and the suffering of all your loved ones into that heart of compassion, and it transforms and radiate out to yourself and others the feeling of peace, health, and happiness. Absorb suffering and struggle as you breathe in. Your heart of compassion instantly transforms it and radiates out peace, health, and happiness. There's an infinite capacity. There's no limit to our wish for others to be free of suffering. That limitless capacity of compassion is our heart. And there's no limit to our wish for others to be healthy and happy. So there's no limit to what we can radiate out from our heart. And as best you can, expand your imagination to include everyone you've ever met, humans and animals. They all share our same wish to be free of suffering and to have peace, health, and happiness. Be aware of negative emotions that might arise when you think of someone else. And pacify them as you in yourself, and pacify the negativity between you. Breathe in and absorb all that negativity in your heart, and it instantly transforms into patience, acceptance, forgiveness to yourself and the other. And finally, we expand to the whole world. This is challenging because of all the fear, anger, and hatred. You would think they don't want peace and happiness. They want to cause pain for others. That's actually the source of suffering. The negative emotions of fear, hatred, greed, pride, jealousy, anger. So this practice is breathe in all the negative emotions, yourself and all the beings in the world. Absorb that into your heart center that instantly transforms it into a radiation of cool, like cool moonlight, of kindness, forgiveness, understanding, and love. Imagine that you're taking away from all beings the ignorance, confusion, and negativity that causes so much suffering for themselves and others. Imagine as you breathe out, you're radiating out, filling all their beings with peace, understanding, and kindness. As the gong fades, have your eyes half open. Awareness awareness back in your body. Feeling the breath move in and out like the ocean waves. Mind open and accepting. And we always conclude these sessions of practice with a further aspiration. Just as we were doing the compassion practice for others, we realized that our practice is more powerful if we dedicate the benefit of it to the well-being of others as well as ourselves. So you can repeat after me or put in your own words. May the practice I've just done be of benefit to others as well as myself. And you can always expand your generosity or connect with your generosity and feel like, I hope that the practice I've just done be of even more benefit to others than to myself. So thank you for your kind attention. And that concludes our session of mindfulness, awareness, and compassion practice.